Technical difficulty. We're about ready to start here.
Right. Yeah. I never found anything. Ours are back. When they were younger, it was fine. It's like one. Yeah, but since they got older. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm happy I could finish.
I'd like to call this meeting of your Newark City Council order. Your name, please call the roll.
Ms. Blind? Here. Mr. Harris?
Here.
Ms. Hollinger? Yes. Mr. Hauser?
Here.
Mr. Labutus?
Here.
Mr. Nice?
Yes.
Mr. Marmy?
Present.
Mr. Rath?
Yep.
Mr. Vaughn?
Here.
Mr. Barker?
Here.
Yeah. We have eight here are present and 2 yes. So. Next, if you please rise for the invocation by Mr. Labutus.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, to come to you for this evening, we thank you for this day that you've given us, another day to serve you. We thank you for this season of thankfulness, but we also thank you for the gifts that you sent so many years ago. And things I ask that you be with our discussions this evening. Help us to remember your plans for our city. The things I ask you to stay. Amen. Amen.
Please remain standing. We're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance by Tristan Presley, 5th grader from Ben Franklin, and Mrs. Cable, his principal, is here with him. Tristan, go right ahead.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic Perfect. Very good job. Thank you. Great job. Next, we have caucus. That's the time the council to discuss anything pertaining to the agenda tonight. Do we have anything? Okay. Next, we have the minutes of our November 21st, 2022 meeting. And do we have a motion to approve those? Motion by Mr. Labutus. Second by Mr. Barker. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That passes. We have one appointment this evening by Mayor Hall appointing Veronica Patton to the Newark Community Improvement Corporation, known as the Newark Development Partners, for 3-year term begins January 1st of 2023 and expires December 31st, 2025. Without objection, that will be received and filed. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That passes. Mayor, did you want to say anything?
I'd just say thank you. Probably most people are a little bit familiar with Ms. Patton, who's Vice President of LMH. Rob's right hand, I'd say, out there, and she is taking the spot of Ann Peterson that stepped down also with LMH, so it'll be a nice transition and still have good representation from LMH on the board. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. We have 3 reports this evening from standing committees, one from finance, one from service, and one from economic development. Without objection, those will be received and filed. We have one report this evening from Roger Loomis, our water administrator. Properties being sent to lien for past due water, sewer, and stormwater bills in the amount of $3,800.21. Without objection, that'll be received and filed. And one new liquor application for Dave's Grill LLC, DBA Dave's Grill, 19 South Park Place. Without objection, that will be received and filed. Is that all right? Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Also, we have a communication from the League of Women Voters and one from Columbia Gas, Ohio. Those will be received and filed. Next on the agenda, we have your opportunity for comments from citizens. Again, this is not a debate or a question and answer period with council. This is just your opportunity to be heard. Do we have anyone who would like to speak this first section? If you do, if you just raise your hand, I'll call you up. Ma'am, you want to come on up? You can just give us your name and address for the record. There's one other opportunity after the legislation to speak also.
All right,
Ma'am?
I'm Jerry Good. I live at 12 North Park Place, downtown Newark. I've been here before. I'm gonna be looking at my card, so I don't forget what I want to tell you. But this is going on 3 years since I first came here to discuss downtown residential parking. So it's still going on. It's really unnerving to think that the place where you live is telling you you can't park where you live. And how would you like it if somebody told you? I guess nobody that's making these decisions lives down here, or it might affect you a little differently. I emailed a list of various cities throughout the country, in Ohio, all around. I emailed that to Mr. Dave Rhodes, because that's who I had worked with in the beginning, showing that mixed use, commercial, residential, no other city is restricting their citizens like Newark. No other city. I mean, you can keep checking. I can forward information to you. I left one example here, probably earlier this year. So I don't know what else I can give you. I just feel that being downtown, we're just not given the same respect as other people where they, where they live. It's just unnerving. I mentioned to friends or other people that I live downtown, and they say, what about parking? And I explain it to them, and they said, I can't believe you're going through this. You try to make downtown a livable place, but then it penalizes. I'm willing to share whatever I've researched with anybody here. I'm willing to come to meetings and discuss it. I offered that in the beginning, but I haven't been contacted by anybody to come to a meeting. So it's just disappointing to have to keep going through this. So that's my parking issue. The other things, maybe a little lighter issue. And Councilwoman Klein has been helping me. Our downtown, the courthouse, the music is sometimes off the charts. People can hear it. Well, now it's a little better, but the beginning of, I guess it was last week, you could hear it probably 6, 7, 8 blocks away. People thought people were playing loud music in their home. They realized it was the courthouse and they felt bad for me because they know I live down here. It's not as loud now, but it's just sporadic as far as when it comes on, when it goes off. Be great if it was like 9 to 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. The other night I thought it was working fine, then it came on 11 o'clock at night and went to 4 a.m. So I'm hoping that can be fixed. That's it.
Thank you. Ma'am, if you have any information, if you would email it to our clerk, she will get it to everybody.
Okay.
And Janine, what would your email be?
Janine P. Janine P. JANINEP at newarkohio.net.
All right. I will do that.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, I'm Dave Lustrew, and I'm the designated observer for the league.
And your address is 40th Street,
40 North 40th Street, Newark.
and you're the League of Women Voters designee.
Correct.
Yes, I got a letter about that.
All right, thanks, sir.
Anyone else's first section? Mr. Smith? Anyone else's first section? If you put your hand up, I can get you in order. If not, we have another opportunity.
I'm Stephen Smith, 237 Violet Court, Newark. Saw a piece in at WOSU radio that says that there is a spike in overdoses in Lincoln County this year, which I just wanted to state that I feel this is a crisis that needs to be addressed. And there's a lot of misunderstanding and bad information out about how to address these. National Substance Abuse Administration. I'm mangling that name. I'm sorry. I lost my spot on it. Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, part of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Promotes the use of harm reduction protocols as a means of getting people off of substance abuse and other sort of harmful practices that that result in these sort of tragedies occurring. These include a number of practices, including supply of sterile needles as part of their counseling and getting people into programs to limit their use of harmful substances. That we're continuing to have this problem in Licking County, and I think is a disaster for us, and I think it's something that we really should be taken seriously at all levels in city and county administration. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we go to ordinances on the second reading, 22-45.
Ordinance number 22-45 by Mr. Marmy, Ms. Blind, Mr. Parker, Ms. Collier, Mr. Rath, and Mr. Labutus. An ordinance authorizing the director and the Newark City Safety Director to certify to the Licking County Auditor the sum of $440,515 incurred by the Newark City Property Maintenance Department on property maintenance violations to be placed as a lien upon certain parcels of real property situated in the city of Newark, Ohio.
First, second reading of 22-45. What is your wish?
Mr. President,
Mr. Marmy.
make a motion to adopt ordinance 22-45.
Motion by Mr. Marmy, second by Mr. Lang. Is there any discussion on 22-45? Seeing none, Janine, please call the roll vote.
Ms. Blind,
Yes.
Mr. Harris,
Yes.
Ms. Collier,
Yes.
Mr. Hauser,
Yes.
Mr. Labutus.
Yes.
Mr. Lang,
Yes.
Mr. Marmy.
Yes.
Mr. Rath,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan.
Yes.
Mr. Parker.
Yes.
22-45 passes 10-0. Next, we go to ordinances on the first reading, 22-47.
Ordinance number 22-47 by Mr. Barker, Ms. Blind, Mr. Labutus, Mr. Rath, and Mr. Hauser, amending ordinance number 661 to include additional public infrastructure improvements related to an existing tax increment financing exemption in the city of Newark, Ohio, granted pursuant to section 5709.40B of the Ohio Revised Code, Mount Vernon Road TIF, and authorizing a supplement to the revenue sharing agreement with Newark City School District.
That is on the first reading. That will be held for our next meeting on December 19th. And next, we move on to resolutions on the second reading, 22-101.
Resolution number 22-101 by Mr. Marmy, Ms. Blind, Mr. Harris, Mr. Rath, Mr. Barker, and Mr. Labutus. A resolution appropriating monies for current expenses of the municipal corporation.
First, second reading of 22-101. What is your wish?
Mr. President,
Mr. Marmy.
make a motion to adopt resolution 22-101.
Motion to adopt by Mr. Marmy,
Second.
second by Mr. Labutus. Is there any discussion on 22-101? Seeing none, Janine, please call the roll vote.
Ms. Blind,
Yes.
Mr. Harris.
Yes.
Ms. Pottinger.
Yes.
Mr. Hauser.
Yes.
Mr. Labutus.
Yes.
Mr. Lang.
Yes.
Mr. Marmy.
Yes.
Mr. Rath,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan.
Yes.
Mr. Parker.
Yes.
22-101 passes 10-0. Next, we go to resolutions on the first reading, 22-107.
Resolution number 22-107 by Mr. Rath, Mr. Barker, Ms. Blind, and Mr. Labutus. A resolution authorizing and directing the Director of Public Service of the City of Newark, Ohio, to advertise for bids and enter into a contract for the replacement of the roofing system of the effluent pump station at the wastewater treatment plant.
22-107 is on its first reading. It'll be held till 12/19, which is our next meeting. Next, we have 22-108.
Resolution number 22-108 expedited by Mr. Marmy, Mr. Barker, Ms. Blind, Mr. Labutus, and Mr. Rath. A resolution appropriating monies for the current expenses of the municipal corporation.
22- Mr. Marmy.
Mr. President, make a motion to waive the 2-day reading rule on resolution 22-108.
Motion to waive the 2-day reading rule by Mr. Marmy, second by Mr. Lang. Mr. Marmy.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have some money that need to come back. We had some scram units that were damaged, and we always want to put that back in so we can purchase it right away. Also, we had some grant money that came in, and we want to make sure that we get them in so we can utilize that this year.
Thank you, Mr. Marmy. Janine, please call the roll, waive the 2-day reading rule.
Ms. Blind,
Yes.
Mr. Harris.
Yes.
Ms. Pottinger.
Yes.
Mr. Hauser.
Yes.
Mr. Labutus.
Yes.
Mr. Lang.
Yes.
Mr. Marmy.
Yes.
Mr. Rath,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan.
Yes.
Mr. Barker.
Yes.
2-day reading rule has been waived, Mr. Marmy.
Thank you, Mr. President. Making motion to adopt resolution 22-108.
Motion by Mr. Marmy, second by Mr. Lang. Is there any other discussion on 22-108? Seeing none, Janine, please call the roll vote.
Ms. Blind?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Ms. Hattiger?
Yes.
Mr. Hauser?
Yes.
Mr. Labutus?
Yes.
Mr. Lang?
Yes.
Mr. Marmy?
Yes.
Mr. Rath?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Barker?
Yes.
And 22-108 passes 10-0. And finally, on the first reading, we have 22-109.
Resolution number 22-109 by Mr. Rath, Mr. Barker, and Ms. Blind. A resolution authorizing and directing the Director of Public Service of the City of Newark, Ohio to proceed with the steps necessary to designate a portion of West Main Street between Sixth Street and Third Street in the downtown area as Herbert J. Murphy Jr. Way.
And 22-109 will be held for 2 weeks until our next meeting on the 19th. And that concludes the legislation tonight. Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have our second opportunity for comments from citizens. Again, the same rules apply. This is not a debate with council or a question and answer period. This is your opportunity to be heard. Do we have anyone who would like to speak tonight? Any city officials this evening? Law Director Moore.
Hey,
See, I remember tonight.
you did, thanks. I'd like to wish Jeff Rath a happy birthday,
Yeah.
coming up. I won't say, do you mind if I say the age?
I don't-
Big 60, so congratulations. Also wanted to give, congratulations to Newark County football team. Their season did end a couple weeks ago, but they had a fantastic season. So congratulations to that school and their football program. And Spencer, I want to say the courthouse looks great. And I appreciate all your work on that effort as well. Jerry, the courthouse music is the county. So we do not have the control to that, but I believe it has been communicated to the commissioners.
It has
Okay.
been, it's not quite worked out.
Not worked out. Okay. And with that, I'll pass. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. Mayor Hall.
Yeah, I'll probably, the courthouse looks great. We had a great courthouse lighting. I thought, we could go Friday with thousands of people downtown and, weather was nice and Santa Claus did a nice job stopping in Newark for just a little bit. And, I appreciate the wonderful activities this time of year. We attended the Newark Granville Symphony Orchestra at the Midland Theater this past weekend. It was just short of 1,000 people, I believe, so it was quite crowded and very nice holiday spirits too. So encourage people to enjoy that. The Isaac Wind Ensembles this coming weekend. Also holiday spirits, so a lot going on. I believe Kenny G is sold out this week at the Midlands, so a lot of good things going on, but the community looks great. So with that, look forward to our upcoming last meeting of the year. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I would like to add on my list, somebody's having their 16th birthday. I thought that must have been Mr. Hauser. I noticed on this bread, 60th birthday. You're gonna have your 60th birthday in a couple of days. You probably ought to raise your hand and everybody can say happy birthday. That's a milestone for both. Okay, miscellaneous, Ms. Blind.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. Ms. Good, I know we've spoken several times and I've contacted the county on multiple occasions concerning your complaint and others' complaints concerning the sound. And so you say it is improving.
The sound is lower.
So as you're saying, it is improving.
I know.
Yeah, so what I will do is I'll convey that again to them tomorrow to let them know. And as far as meeting on parking, I have gotten phone calls from other residents and they would like to convene after the first of the year as however they wish. And so they know what they would like to do, and so they will let me know. And I would like to thank Mr. Loomis and his wonderful crew in the water department for approving, I call it a lateral stent from Miller to keep the flooding down there. And I really appreciate that. And the residents do too. I mean, it's going to be several properties that will hopefully some of that water is alleviated from that. So thank you so much. And I'd like to thank property maintenance for bringing into compliance a couple residences on 6th, Wyant, Worley, and Island. It's a big deal. It means a lot to the residents. We really appreciate property maintenance's hard work. They have a tough job and they're great at it. And there's going to be a community meeting this Thursday, which is 12/8, that's 7 o'clock in the Ben Franklin cafeteria on homelessness in the city. And so it's going to be short, only from 7 to 8. Well, as much as I talk here, I keep short meetings, so it's gonna be 7 to 8, so it is, anyone's welcome to come. And I would like to thank the great crew working on the Easy Street Park. People have asked, why are we tearing into that place? Because no community, no mother and father should have to go out and pick up needles before their kids go out to play. They should not have to patrol and pick up things that are left that are harmful to their children before their children can enjoy that park. So I'd like to thank our crew leader there, and for all those have given selflessly of their time to help secure that area. And I also like to thank mound builders for considering to putting the gates back up on their site, as there have been some activities there that are counterproductive to safety for those living in that vicinity. And as to Needle, you know, speaking of boundaries, borders matter. And that's all I'll say. And I thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bond. Mr. Harris.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank Tristan for coming in and doing the pledge. He was really excited to do it tonight, so I appreciate that. And then I want to invite everyone on January the 16th is Martin Luther King breakfast. And that'll be the first biggest snowfall of the year. Every year. So that would be at the Reach Center, and that'll be starting, I believe it's at 7 a.m. So if anyone wants to sponsor or get a table, or just let me know. And with that, I pass.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Ms. Sonnier.
Thank you, Mr. President. Wish Councilman Rath happy birthday
Happy
early.
birthday, Jeff.
I think it's early.
It is a little bit.
Okay, well, you get the whole month. That's what my husband says. I don't know. It's his birthday. I also, I also want to thank Tristan. The audience couldn't see his face when he was doing it. He was so excited. I'm like, it would be nice if we were all that excited to say the Pledge of Allegiance for our country. Seriously. I mean, he did a great job. So that was exciting. And I want to congratulate Spencer on the courthouse lighting. I know you had some challenges, but you really could tell, at least from our perspective in the crowd, it was great. Wonderful Santa, the music was wonderful, Pat Jeffries did a good job, the weather was actually very nice, so you had it all organized. I will say congratulations, and I appreciate you doing that in your committee, so that would pass.
Thank you, Ms. Sonnier. Mr. House.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to thank Auditor Bob for keeping us well informed through the budget process. This is my first time doing that. I appreciate him making himself available to answer any questions. It's been very valuable, and that will pass.
Thank you, Mr. House. Mr. Labutus.
Well, I wish Mr. Rath a happy birthday, a few days early, and also thank congratulate Mr. Barker on the courthouse lighting. I think I went well that evening, and I think everyone had a great time. And I will pass.
Thank you, Mr. Labutus. Mr. Lyon.
Thank you, Mr. President. Wish Jeff a happy birthday as well. And I'd also like to thank our law director for setting up time for a few of us to meet with the folks from Flock and go through the contract. I will say they were receptive to walking through the contract, looking at the issues that we had raised. Not sure we'll be able to get everything that I would hope that we'd have in the contract and all the clarifications I'd like to see, but it was promising that they were at least willing to work with us, and I'm hopeful that we'll at least nip around the edges a little bit and perhaps get some terms in place that are reasonable and that we can live with. So want to thank the law director for setting that up and for her time and efforts to listen and pass those comments along. So with that, I'll pass things.
Thank you, Mr. Lyon. Mr. Morrow.
Thank you, Mr. President. I need to call a finance committee meeting for December the 19th. Let's see, a couple things. Want to wish Mr. Rath a happy birthday this Wednesday, and then Mr. Hauser this Saturday. So happy birthday to both of you this week. I guess I just want to piggyback on what Councilman Ryan talked about as far as meeting with Block. They were so receptive. I mean, we thought that we might go in there. I mean, so helpful. They actually thanked us for bringing things to their attention. And I want to say this guy right here, he knows contract language. And so very, very helpful, along with the law director. And it was just so pleasant working with them. And, you know, they understood all the concerns, and literally most of their comments were you know, we know what we mean, but yet it doesn't say that in the contract, so we understand. So it was very good to hear that, and I came out of that meeting feeling good. And so I want to thank the law director also for setting that up. It was greatly appreciated. Downtown parking, we've been trying to address that for years. We try to come up with something that's fair and equitable for everyone. I know that, you know, if we don't have restrictions, then what happens is employees park there and then the merchants are upset, or else, you know, the residents park there, merchants are, or the merchants folks park there, residents are upset. So I think that it's one of those things where it's first come, first serve if we just give it a free for all. And then sometimes it blocks up everything. And I think that's why some of the parking is the way that it is. Now, I do know that we're trying to address that and actually in some various ways. An additional parking garage, hopefully in the future, we're hoping will help with the situation. Some other things, and maybe even down the road, even more, another parking garage. So it is something that is being looked at. It's not an overnight fix though, but I will tell you that folks are listening and it's being addressed even into the future, not just for today. So I appreciate you coming and voicing your concerns. And I think that no matter what, if there's good ideas, the city always listens. So I appreciate you coming. And with that, I pass.
Thank you, Mr. Marmy. Mr. Rath?
Thank you. First, I want to call a service committee meeting for December 19th. I want to bring everybody's attention to this Mega Give Marathon Day. So WCLT's program director, Wild Boy, sure everybody knows him. Wild Boy Snyder is doing what he can to make sure nobody goes hungry this holiday season. He'll be on the radio anchoring a 12-hour food drive and broadcast from Caldwell Chevrolet Kia of Newark, beginning Saturday morning. That's this Saturday, the 10th at 6 a.m. Residents will be invited to drive and drop off any perishable food items or make cash donations to the food pantry of Lincoln County. Taking care of families at the holidays pretty much clears the pantry shelves. Said Wally, he added this effort will help them restock so they can keep helping those in need. So that's this Saturday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. At Caldwell Chevrolet Kia in Newark. I sent out this email to everybody on council. I'll put your feet to the fire. I'll challenge everybody to, it says here $25 feeds a family of 4 for a week. I'm not sure what level I'm going to give at, but it'll at least be at that. But I'll challenge everybody on council to at least match that. You can do better, you can do better. That's great. Mr. Hauser, happy birthday. Very good. Mr. Waldron, if you're out there watching this, I always wish you a happy birthday because we share a birthday. So Tim Waldron, happy birthday wherever you are. And
Thank you, Mr. Rath. Mr. Ron?
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to wish you two happy birthday, happy early birthday. With that, I'll pass.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan, and Mr. Bartlett.
Thank you, Mr. President. A couple things here. Thank you, everybody, for your kind words on courthouse lighting. It was a bit of a challenge this year. But I also want to make sure that we thank our firefighters and NFD who every year bring in Santa to town. And I think some of them sometimes fight to see who's going to drive Santa in, is what my understanding is. They may play rock, paper, scissors sometimes to figure out who's doing it, but they do a great job. We always have a smooth Santa delivery. So can't appreciate them enough. Also want to say a thank you to NPD. This was year had the most security ever at that event. We've been working on a security plan over many years just because with how many people come into downtown, to the point where I had to dig through my center console and find my city badge just to get on the square. So we're gonna be working on that next year to get committee members in, but again, can't thank them at NPD enough, as well as NFD and keeping everybody safe that night. in accordance with county EMA as well. Want to address the Carillon. As some may not know, that is actually a memorial to my dad when he passed away. And so it's been installed for about 9 years next year. And we've never had any issues with it until this year. I don't really know what is drawing on that. We have talked with the county. They are working on adjusting it to meet the noise ordinance times. They also know of an issue that we found on Friday where the clock tower was reporting the wrong time, which then the clock tower is what controls what time it starts playing. That all has been addressed. The county commissioner's office handles all that with the Carillon and the top part of the tower lighting. So we'll be having further discussions with them. Running from 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. That's a new one. I hadn't heard that. So we'll definitely address that with the county tomorrow. I want to say happy birthday to Mr. Rath, Mr. Hauser, and I would be remiss, Mr. Mayor, if I didn't say happy anniversary to you and Helen. She let me know tonight she was coming here to spend some time with you. You've been so busy, and today is your anniversary.
Where's?
I don't know. So I'll, with that, I'll pass.
She went.
This is already for not to spend around.
Oh, and with that, I'd like to thank everyone for coming this evening. We appreciate your attention. Is there a motion to adjourn? Motion by Mr. Halper, second by Mr. Rath. All in favor signify by saying